The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight we have Styles Montana, a great entrepreneur. And he's brought one of his products to talk about and also to talk about life, right?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, Styles,
Yes.
what brings you here today?
Well, it's a new product. It's called Blue Storm.
Yes.
It's a gluten-free vodka.
Gluten-free.
Absolutely.
You know, I have a niece who only eats gluten-free, and maybe I could turn her on to that too, because I didn't know that vodka had gluten in it.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
interesting.
But this one is actually gluten-free. It's 5 times distilled. It's made from French whole wheat.
Wow.
And it's from Cognac, France.
So how did you get affiliated with this product?
Well, actually, it's such a small world, you know. Once something is made for you, it's always going to be for you.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to really get into
Oh, no, you don't have
another
to.
situation.
Yeah, I hear you.
But one thing led to another, and I met with the owners of this, Gabrielle and Michael.
Right.
And they saw my vision on my own personal project, and they asked me to join them.
Right.
And the next thing you know, I was affiliated with them, and I started branding and marketing it.
Well, it's a beautiful bottle, that's for sure. And I haven't tasted it yet, but I have to go to work tomorrow. No, but
I'll make sure you get to taste it on the weekend.
Oh, that would be nice. But I've never seen a bottle quite like it. It really is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So do they have? Is it just one flavor vodka, or do they have other?
As of right now, there's only one flavor.
Right.
But what's happening right now, we're stepping into future products. We're not gonna give the secrets away, but
Right.
we're gonna expand past the vodka line.
Right.
And right here, this bottle is actually one of the older bottles.
Really?
Yeah, there's newer bottles, newer
So
designs.
it's a collector's item.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, really.
And
I hate to pop that cork. Yeah, it looks nice.
but as you see it now, you know,
Yes.
it will change.
Right.
And the quality, everything about it, the bottle will change. The bottle is handmade. Everything about it is handmade.
It is a beautiful bottle. It's like even after you finish drinking it, it might be something just to keep.
Absolutely. And you know, the thing about this bottle that I like the most is the fact that, you know, it comes with a pour proof. So you can't refill it with any other vodka
That's
at a
good.
bar.
Yeah, because I used to be a bartender. I was a bartender for 13 years, and I hate to say it, but some places we used to have problems getting Jack Daniels, so they would get some other kind of Tennessee liquor and put it into the Jack Daniels.
Oh no, you can't do that with this bottle.
That's good.
So every time.
So every time you drink this, you're drinking this. You're not drinking
That's
anything.
it.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, you
So,
can't refill it.
Other than this, are there other ventures that you're involved in?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm also dealing with the music industry, the
Oh,
film
cool.
industry as well. You know, I have a group called New Life. We have a record label called New Life World. You know, and they're pretty much the next big thing
That's great.
to hit the music industry.
Right.
So we deal with anything from pop, hip hop, R&B. You know, we collect a lot of different talent, and we brand with.
So how many artists do you work with?
As of right now, whoa, there's about 15 of them.
Wow.
15.
And they're working and they're getting gigs
Absolutely.
and stuff like that. That's
They're in the
great. So you're
studios.
helping them out. I mean, it's
Well, it's a one hand washes the other situation.
right.
You know.
Do you promote them or?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
We
I mean-
promote each other.
I see.
You know.
So it's like a family almost.
And the funny part about it is that from each borough in New York,
Yes.
there's one person from each borough.
That's cool.
So, you know, it kind of covers the whole city.
So do you have any big gigs coming up in terms of in the city?
Yes, we actually are working on a show right now, a showcasing, and we're dealing with a close friend of mine who helped start Bad Boy Records with, his name is June Balloon. He's very well known in the industry. He was also a part of Cash Money Collect for a long time. I think he did about 5 years there.
Wow.
He helps us as well, and we also have clothing line that we brand as well called Michael Cherry.
Cool.
You know, I would have been able to wear, you know, his on the show, but I decided to stay professional today.
That's cool. No, but it's great. I mean, so how did you get into the businesses that you're in? I mean, what was the motivating factor? How'd you do it?
Well, a long time ago, I was with a rap group called the Lost Boys. from South Jamaica, Queens. And one of the biggest stars in, rest in peace, his name was Freaky Ty. He decided to take me on tour with him. So I've been through all of the states in the United States. And when I came back, I started to promote parties. So I started mixing drinks, and I would never tell anybody what was inside the drinks.
Right.
And everybody said, you should bottle this, you should bottle this. So one thing led to another. The next thing you know, I ended up creating my own vodka.
Right.
It took me 15 years to, search out and find exactly what it was or what steps to take. There was no one to teach me this, so I had to, do the research on the social media, the books, and, really just go out there and network and talk to people.
So you set a goal, and you just went for it.
I never stopped.
That's it.
I was just determined.
And that's something. Do you help your stars also with, do you see yourself as a mentor possibly for some of the people that you're working with?
Well, in some ways, but at the same token, they mentor to me as well.
That's it.
Because it's like I learn from them just as well as they learn from me.
Right.
I've gotten to a stage to now, whereas I can pretty much create anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be alcohol.
Right.
I know how to take the steps that's needed, which no one ever taught in a classroom setting. You literally have to be a part of it and learn what you need to know, who you need to connect with, and take a bit and piece and put the puzzle together.
And that's something that you don't learn in school, and those are life lessons, really. And sometimes those life lessons are happening, but people don't even recognize that those things are happening.
Absolutely.
It takes a certain person who is perceptive enough to realize how to put the pieces together. Yeah. So that's
you definitely have to realize that there's a positive in every negative.
That's true.
So every time something bad happens to you, you have to realize that there was a lesson to be learned.
Right.
So even though it didn't happen the way you wanted it to, or when you wanted it to, as long as you stayed focused and you seen that there was something in there that you can take it away from that experience, that's what helps people grow.
Have you ever been knocked down and felt that you couldn't? No, but felt that you couldn't get up? Because it seems like you're the type of person now with life's lessons that realize that anything is a learning experience. Anything that happens to you is a learning experience. Was it always that way with you?
No, I think I've always been a fighter.
Right.
If you told me I couldn't make it or I couldn't do it, then I had to make it my business to prove you wrong.
That's good. That's it.
And by me doing that, it also opened eyes to other people. But it seems like, the way that things happen now is like if you don't set an example, if people don't see what you're doing, if you're not constantly pounding that pavement and letting them, bringing awareness, educating them to what you're doing, they're not going to follow you. But once they see somebody else glorify you, that's when they want to follow you.
Right.
So once I've learned that, it was sort of like an algorithm. Like I just put everything together, and then I kind of monopolized on it.
So I have a question, because I'm dealing with things in my life right now, and I mean, I find that do you try to surround yourself with people who want to keep on going?
Absolutely.
See, because there might be some issues in my life right now where I have a pretty strong vision of what I want to do, but some people around me might be a little bit afraid, who are part of my group, to go there. They're afraid to take that step. They're afraid that we're not ready, or something along those lines. And I feel like if you're not ready now, when are you going to be ready? That's how I look at life. I mean,
well, there's a such thing in my thing. It's called leaders and followers.
That's it.
Some people are scared to take that jump. Some people worry the fear of failure. If you let that fear conquer you, then you'll never know what was out there for you. So if you decide to take that jump and they see you succeed, then they're willing to jump right behind you.
Right. But I think it's even stronger, even if you don't succeed the first time, but then you jump again, because
absolutely.
If you keep on jumping, I think that's almost even a stronger message, because a lot of people get knocked down and they're down for the count. But it's the people that even that Rocky. It's not the punches you hit, you give. It's the punches you could take, and then still come back. So I want to keep on trying to succeed in life, but or at least in my acting or whatever it is, or the directing, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid for something to be bad because I know it's going to be good. You know, I mean, that's.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I know you're the host, but let me ask you a question.
Please.
Now, in life,
Yes.
you're going to always have good?
No.
So you will have bad.
That's it.
So there's a balance. There's always going to be good and there's going to be bad.
Absolutely.
So you're going to
100%.
have. You wouldn't know bad if you never experienced good.
That's
you wouldn't know good if you never experienced bad, correct?
You're absolutely right. That's
So
the truth.
when you fall, you dust yourself off, keep walking.
That's it. I agree with you, and that's a lesson that you learn the hard way, or you give up. And I'm not a person who's going to give up. There have been times. I'm 60 years old. There have been times in my life when I did give up. You know, when I was down and things weren't going well. But at this point, I realized that the things that I was afraid of in my past were things that were in my own head. It was like you just, whatever you set your mind to do, you could do, And especially, if you're motivated and you have the right group of people, even if you don't, but especially if you have the right group of people, you can do almost anything, if you have your mind, if you have mind focused.
Well, if you think it, you can achieve it.
That's it.
Anything you can put your mind to.
That's it.
Like, take it a step further.
Yes.
In the past, when they said the year 2000, correct?
That's
Do
it.
you remember when they said the year 2000, all the things that we would have?
Right.
It's 2000 and what? 16.
Right.
And we're just now getting things that were being thought of back then, before the year 2000 came.
That's true.
So everything you do think becomes a reality.
I mean, look at Star Trek. I remember when Star Trek came out in 1967 or whatever it was, and looking at these flip phones, like
cell phone,
the walkie, these communicators they called it. I mean, that's life now. I mean, looking at computers that were just a sheet. Now, I mean, we have it in our phones.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing. If you think it. And maybe that's what started the whole ball rolling, was this, Gene Roddenberry thinking of those things.
Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing. So if you thought about that, when you were that age and you were watching Star Trek, correct?
That's correct.
Did you believe that stuff was
way.
possible to
Impossible.
be made, to be able to look into a piece of plastic and see another person?
Or just a communicator. Who even thought that you could do that? Meanwhile, I mean, iPhones are like 10 times greater than those.
Than the communicator.
That's it.
It.
It's amazing. And the one thing though that's also interesting, not that it means anything, but a lot of younger kids today don't have the history of. Like I saw this thing on Facebook of all things about people looking at the old computers from the year 2000, and they didn't know how to use like Windows 95. That's okay though, but I think it's important to know the history too, because we have to know where we're coming from, or just in general, we have to know where you have to know where you're coming from in order to know where you're going, I think, to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
So what other ventures are, what future things? I mean, I know what you're into now.
As far as, well, the vodka was always going to be an introduction into the things that I wanted to do, but I kind of wanted to expand into, let's just say I had a rough childhood growing up. So I'm one of the type of people that want to show that it's not really what you've been through, it's who you become.
And I think that's a strong message. I really do. I mean, if you let yourself, the one thing I've heard this said to me, you have to also, the other thing is you have to forgive yourself for things that you might, that if there were bad things that happened in your life before, you have to just let it go.
Yes.
Because you have a whole life to live. You can't waste your life worrying about yesterday. I mean, that's just a waste of time.
My father always said you can't drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror.
That's it. And your father was right, man. So the whole thing is that, and obviously you're driving forward, but that's a lesson that you have to learn too, because not everybody, including myself, have always done always the best things in life to get to the point that we're at this point.
But you had choices.
Right.
You made the decision. So now that you made the decision, you have to find that
lesson.
Forget
it. I mean, my decision now is to go forward.
There you have it.
And there's no other decision other than to go forward, and to do the right thing for myself, my family, and for for people. Do it the right way.
Absolutely.
That's the way to do it. Just like our mutual friend Ryan. I mean, he does things like to do things in a positive way.
Absolutely.
That's it. And I know you have that spirit too. But
Absolutely.
life is rough, you know, in the beginning, because it takes a long time to get your head. You know, the thing is, youth is wasted on the young a lot of times. You know, like when I was younger, you know, I wish I had the common, you know, not that who knows how much common sense I have now, but I wish I had the common sense I have now than I did when I was younger.
That's what makes you you,
That's
you
it.
know. But I definitely wanted to start writing about my past, you know,
So you should do
making
it.
short films, probably a TV show, web series. So all of these things will come into fruition.
Well, I'm thinking, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about, because, you know, I do have another television show here, I was thinking about putting together part of the scriptless show, a bunch of short films, rather than just having a series. That was something I was thinking after the 10th episode of Scriptless MD, is to come up with like scriptless or scripted, but have short films once a week. Or
Sounds
once,
good.
and so we might be open to having, if you needed a venue to put some of your short films on,
Absolutely,
you know, we could
absolutely.
work that out too. But it's fun. You know, the thing that I like about the show is, the shows that I do, is that it lets me, even this show, work out things that are going on in my life. You know, like, I'll put it this way: my father's been on this show, the Way to Go, 60 times. He told me, and he's 100. He's going to be 101 on March 25th in a couple of
Wow.
weeks, in 10 days. He said that he never talked to me in his 60 years that I've been alive as much as he talks to me on this show. So it's this show, or any show like this, makes
Bridges a gap, a connection.
that's it. I mean, I've never met you before, but now, you know, we're having a conversation that's, I think, pretty meaningful. And it's amazing what a talk show could do when you meet a person. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yes, and it opens you up, you
That's
know. It allows you to be able to clear your thoughts on things that you probably would have never mentioned before.
Right. So, if you were to make short films, what do you think you would? What topics would you think you would? Would it be personal short films?
It would be pretty much reality. It would have a lot of things that I've experienced or things that I've witnessed in my life that are probably unheard of
Right.
to most people.
I hear you.
You know.
And those are the best films. The ones that are true to yourself, I think, are the ones that are the most meaningful. So I think you're going
I've
to come
seen a
up with some
lot.
good.
Let's just say I've seen a lot.
And I think those films are going to come out really well, and I can't wait to see them. And I'd love to be a part of them, if, you know, in one way or another, if I could help in any way.
Absolutely.
But it's to me, I don't know. It's funny that sometimes my time when I'm doing films is like more living than my times when I'm on this, you know, just living. You know what I mean? I don't know why it is. It's the times like this. I don't get a chance to talk like this in any other venue with people than on The Way to Go. And I wind up talking to people intimately on this show. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird how talk shows
It's sort of like a psychology or therapy.
It is, right? But it's good. So what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
So right now, you know, I'm just building capital,
Right.
you know, so I can finance my own projects and take care of the things that need to be taken care of
Right.
without having to ask for too much, you know.
Right.
And as that progresses and things get better.
But you wouldn't turn down people who would
Oh, no,
want to help you.
absolutely not, absolutely not. But I mean, it's always better to have something of your own to bring to the table.
Oh, there's no question.
You know.
But and that's really, I mean, see, I still haven't figured out that aspect of taking it to the next level. But to me, I do all this stuff for personal reasons. Like, the reason why I started this show was really to initially, and we're at like 128 episodes, whatever it is, was to get people who I worked with in films an opportunity to promote themselves, because all these actors are working in films, and you know, it's a rough world. It's a rough world out there. We have like thousands of actors who are trying to get ahead and trying to promote. So I figured, you know, I would have this show, and I would do two things. I would have a show for my father to work on once a month for 2 episodes, and the other 2 episodes were to promote actors, filmmakers, independent filmmakers, people like you, people like other people who are interesting, who give me an opportunity to meet new people, and to really kind of help the other person out to promote themselves.
But look at where you at. Look what happened. You actually helping people on a daily basis now.
Well, I wish it was a daily basis, but it's 2 times a month. But but to me, I would love it. I would love it on a daily basis. But it's fun, you know. And the other thing is, how many people get the opportunity? I mean, how many people come up to you and say you want to do a half-hour show on, I mean, and promote yourself and your product?
Very rare, very rare.
It's nice, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
It's a
and
good
I appreciate you.
Well, no, and I appreciate you coming on the show because, it's, even though it's a wonderful, it is also, it's not the easiest thing to get people to come in, month out, even as guests.
Really?
But also, you want to also choose the guests wisely because to have the right people on the show.
Absolutely.
So, how did you meet? You met JT, right?
Oh, yes. I've known JT for over 15 years.
Wow. How'd you meet him?
I met JT through Noah G. Pop.
Oh, I know Noah G. Pop. You know why? Because when we did Scriptless MD, we were doing it at his place.
Oh, wow.
But then some weird things happened, and the first episode we did it at his place, and it was Scriptless MD because we had his physical therapy place that we were doing the work.
Okay.
And we shot one episode, and we were about to shoot the second, and for whatever reason it didn't work out, so we had to we shifted the show to be a different type of show. But I know Noah. He's a fashion designer and all that stuff.
Into the arts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And from being in the industry, it's very small.
Yes.
You see, it's a very small world. You'd be surprised who you bump into. And I just happened to run back into JT recently.
Right.
And it was just like we never stopped speaking to each other.
JT's a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
And he knows so many people.
Oh, does he?
I mean, I met him, I just remember meeting him at what's the name of the place? Tribeca Film. Not the film festival, but it was a screening of a movie that I was in at the Tribeca Cinema. And I just bumped into him, and he was sitting next to me with this girl who was a very attractive girl, and we started talking. And he said, "What do you do? Are you an actor?" I said, "Yeah, watch the film." So I was playing a priest in the movie, which was really funny. But and from that day on, he's been my casting director. He works on all my projects with me. He brings me unbelievable actors for the show, and whether they're new actors or actors who've been around, for whatever reason, I usually get a pretty good. I get a good performance out of all my actors, and my wife hates me saying my actors, but that's how I look at them. The actors that work with me. And,
Absolutely.
So, what kind of stuff did you do with JT when you were?
Well, I used to just come around, to
the
network,
parties.
and he used to introduce me to people, but I was more so into focusing on branding a liquor, creating a product. So the people that I was trying to find were not at those locations, but
how about now with the music?
with the music, definitely.
I mean, JT and Ryan might be people that could be very helpful in ways, I guess, for you and to work with you, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
That's it.
We will definitely do a lot of projects with Ryan and
That's
JT.
cool.
Absolutely.
And
I think we actually sponsored one of their events, the Winter Film Festival. That was pretty huge. And the award ceremony
was that the Urban Action Film Festival, or was it the Winter?
Winter Film Festival.
That was the one. Yeah, I was in a film like 4 years ago that was at that film festival, the first one. But even like this venue, like I'm happy that my cinematographer gave you his card if you ever need help. He's an unbelievable. Matt is an unbelievable. He's unbelievable behind the camera. So anybody would be. He's a guy that could really be helpful for any project. And life is good,
Can't complain.
That's
I definitely can't complain about it.
That's it. So I hope one day. I would love to. Again. I'd love this conversation just to continue, I mean, and it's going to continue at least for a little while. But, it's amazing when you meet people for the first time on a show and then it seems like you click. And so you also brought a friend in, but we're not going to have him on the camera. I mean,
oh, yes.
But, so could you tell us who's here, even though?
Who's here?
Yes.
His name is Nice the Future.
Yes.
He was affiliated with G Unit.
Yes.
And he was one of the artists for Mobb Deep. He's with me.
Yes.
And he's like my brother. He's like my right hand.
Right.
We've known each other since kids. Wow. So, and he's like really big in the industry, really big.
So when is he going to break out?
Very soon.
That's it.
We definitely have a lot of things going on right now that's going to unravel, should I say.
Wow. Have you seen it happen with other people? I mean, well, you were close. You were close to, I mean, how many people have you seen reach the top?
A lot.
What's it like? I mean, from the, when you're right next to it. You know what I mean?
It's sort of weird because it's like one day they're right there where you can touch them, and then the next day they're over there somewhere else where they're unreachable or too much going on.
I knew Sheila Escovedo before she became Sheila E. Because she was a good friend of my cousin's, and she was just one of the people. She was the percussionist for a guy named Rodney Franklin, who was a pianist that I knew in Berkeley in 1981, and then she became Sheila E. And I ran into her again at the Hollywood Palace, which was a club that I worked in. And even though she had become this big star, she still came running up to me. We hugged and all this stuff. But it is amazing what happens.
And it's a small.
Once God touches you, and then you know, it's like, and then it happens. It's like it's like crazy, right? I mean.
Yeah. Well, we all came from one block. It was like 134 in Garborough. That's where 50 Cent is from. That's where the Lost Boys are from.
Right.
And it's like Southside Jamaica, Queens within itself.
Right.
LL Cool J.
Wow, I didn't know he was from Queens.
Yeah, a lot of artists from Queens. James Brown's was from Queens.
Wow.
You know, I can go. The list can go on.
Oh yeah,
Run
Barbra
DMC.
Streisand. And Barbra Streisand and Neil. I mean, you're right. A lot of musicians.
You know, a lot of musicians definitely came from Queens, but it's like it's a small area, and pretty much everyone knows each other.
You know Ken Kushner. Do you know Ken?
No.
But he's someone that I worked with, and he did American Brawler, this movie. He did a 50 Cent video. He directed a 50 Cent video.
Oh, then I probably met him, but just remember him by face.
Right. That was like a big deal when he did that. That was a big big thing. So maybe one day, one of the people in your entourage will make it as big as that.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I don't sit there and say it's not a
but
if thing.
Right. It's a when.
It's definitely a when thing.
But it just seems like there's so much competition out there, though. I mean, but again, you don't look at the competition; you look at what you do. But still, the competition will drive you nuts if you focus in on the competition. That's the wrong direction to look, right?
Absolutely. But there's competition with anything you do.
That's true.
You know,
even vodka, but no one has a prettier bottle than that. That's it.
You know, there's competition with anything you do.
Right.
You know, everybody that was in your class with you when you were in school, those were all your competition.
That's true.
And there's how many schools in this world?
That's it.
How many people in this world?
That's the one thing. I remember, like, even my daughter went to college, started college this year. And you just think of how many colleges, how many students, you know, it's like millions. It's not even, it's millions.
Waiting on that acceptance letter.
Right, all that stuff.
So anything you do has competition.
And the other thing is, as we talked about before, a lot of them are just waiting. You know, they're waiting. They're not doing. And it's the people who do that really make a difference in the world. It's the people that wait, that are waiting. They wait their whole lives away.
Well, anyone that tell you, if they know me, my favorite line is talk isn't cheap, it's free.
Right.
You know, everybody say talk is cheap. It's not cheap. It doesn't cost a thing.
That's true.
So basically, it's either you're gonna do it or you're not.
And that's it. That is my philosophy too. You know, and it's if you don't do it,
or if you don't ever try,
then who are you hurting? You know, it's not that you're wasting space, but it's like you're not really helping anything. You're not really helping anyone. You know.
Absolutely.
So. But I think if you're going to do it, you might as well try to help people while you're doing it at the same time.
Oh man, speaking on that,
right.
When I sit there and I watch how many people that are successful or that were successful, that's a big problem if you do not position people around you to also be just as successful as you.
I hate to do this to you. I mean, that's a nice thing to say at the end of the show because there's only one thing left to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks. Thank you for being on the show.